Meliodas, brother, Broski, king, majesty, whatever you want to be called, all right? You know what? It's the current year, so we'll call you whatever you want. Why are you trying to do the saving? Thank you to our $5 patrons, Strawbones, Redwolf4765, and Midnight Gemlord. Now, before we come to this breakdown / discussion on why Meliodas is even remotely, partially considering like the saving of the King of Camelot, please, if you ever leave your own thoughts on why Meliodas is trying to save Arthur in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell to miss out on any videos that come on the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can support for as low as $1 a month to get these exclusive videos, early content, and more. Now, let's hop into the discussion. What's up, guys? I'm the Pencil here, and you know, I rag on a lot of characters for this, because I think it's dumb. And here's the thing, right? Meliodas, Broski, like, you don't know Arthur from a can of paint. Let's be real. You interacted with him, let's see, once in the battle with Henriksen, second when you helped him in Camelot, and then I don't think you saw him until you were evil, and then the end of the series. Like, bro, that's 4 times. I can count the amount of times you've interacted with Arthur on one hand, without using my whole hand. Why are you trying to save this man? Especially, like, Arthur has just full on said, like, yeah, you know the other races, those other species, yeah, I don't like them. They're dirty. They're filthy. I want them off my lawn. Like, it was just a legitimate thing. Like, I remember reading it for the first time in the live reaction, and then double taking it again during the review and being like, what is happening here? What's going like, why is this on Meliodas' agenda? Like, why are we trying to save the megalomaniac with the power to erase and create worlds? Like, I don't get it. And the thing is, right, like, I took a quick dive back through Meliodas' character, and yeah, he spared people. Sometimes. like Meliodas, he wasn't necessarily the nicest of people, like, half the time. It really was random on whether or not he decided to spare you. A bunch of holy knights, he would full counter your magic right back in your face. And knowing 100% that your magic twice as strong as it was before would definitely one-shot you. Like, pretty much every... I'm trying to think, though. He even hesitated trying to get rid of his daddy. And then again, he didn't hesitate to get rid of the Supreme Deity. The thing is, I can get his father, right? Because that's your dad. And no matter what, that's your pappy, right? So maybe you don't want to get rid of your pappy, because, you know, he's your pappy. And you gotta have faith in your pappy, especially when you can body bag your pappy. Like, I get that. But you know who we didn't hold back on? The Supreme Deity. You wanna know why? Because the Supreme Deity was a threat to his world. You wanna know what Arthur is? A threat to everybody. Not just a threat to your world, but a threat to every world. Like, legitimately, looking at the ratio here, one species comes out on top if Arthur does the Arthur thing. So I don't know why Meliodas is so intent on saving the boy. Like, and it really explains why Meliodas didn't just pop out AM and just go all out. Because reasonably, there's no reason on this good green earth, no matter how powerful Meliodas is now, because we're going to make a whole video talking about that too, because he's even stronger than I thought he was, if we're just taking a shot in the dark based on statements and new scaling and stuff like that. But with that being the case, regardless of any of that, the fact that he decided that in any universe, when Arthur was chilling about in base, in ceiling range, like, not gonna lie, if I saw that, I'm immediately smacking Arthur upside the head with the darkness seal. Meliodas lunged in base and decided to throw swords with him. Like, it's the only justification for that. It's to save him. But why? Like, I've legit just sat back, and this is the biggest question, why Meliodas is trying to save Arthur. And, like, the only hypothetical idea I have is that he views Arthur as a potential resource. Like, admittedly, possessing the creator of the verse would be nice. Like, it would be cool to have that readily available, especially since Meliodas sacrificed his own true magic. So, like, it would be nice. But other than that, like, Arthur is a guaranteed risk. Like, if we're talking, like, Arthur's in jail for a crime, and we're determining whether or not he could post bail to be allowed to walk free, there's a 100% flight risk. Like, bro's gone. Like, legitimately, we saw there was a literal 100% flight risk when his flying ship came through and picked him up. So, I don't know what Meliodas is, like, reasoning, long-term goal, anything. And, like, I gave pause. I'm trying to think, is there any information? Like, hypothetically, you could argue that maybe he's like, oh, well, I'm not supposed to do it. The four knights are supposed to do it. So maybe I can try to avoid this future by trying to save Arthur. But, like, Arthur doesn't seem like he wants to be saved, bruh. Like, if he's really been doing what it seems like he's been doing, a.k.a. going around torturing people, slaughtering the other races, trying to get rid of the other races, you know, trying to do all the evil things that one can evil do. Like, Mel, what's the strat here, buddy? What's the plan? You can't just reading Rainbow this guy. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you could have had a conversation with him, you would have had a conversation with him, but you can't. Bro's too far gone. He's too off the sauce. He got the walk, and it was from Poland, unfortunately. So with that being the case, I don't know. Like, any reasonable conversation to be had with Arthur is not going to happen. Arthur seems very far beyond reasonable conversation at this point, so I don't think that's Meliodas' angle. Beating it into him? I also don't think that'll work. Like, we talked about how Arthur may or may not really be whatever kind of immortal you want him to be. But, like, at least, as far as can be believed, he's pretty darn durable. And as strong as Meliodas likely is now, he's probably not going to fold to a couple punches to the mouth. Like, I don't think the Wombo combo is going to do any good against Arthur. Number 3, threaten him. But, like, threaten him with what? Because, like, once again, he is the creator of the verse. I don't know. It's like in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, someone saying they're going to threaten truth with something. Like, I just don't see how that's going to work. Like, oh no, you see, Arthur, if you do anything bad anymore, we'll take Merlin. And Arthur's legit like, I can just make another Merlin. One that's probably even better, faster, stronger. But, like, legitimately, I don't know. I want to stick with the resource idea, right? Because that's the only reason I could see it. Because I don't see any character connections between Arthur and Meliodas. I mean, they're both young kings. But even then, Meliodas isn't that young anymore. You may look it, but dude's 4,000 plus. He's already 4,000 plus. So, like, they're two kings. That's the only character connection I see. And Arthur used to respect Meliodas, and still does to some degree. I think, like, you can see it in their interactions, despite what Arthur is, like, verbally saying, and quite literally physically doing. He does seem to have some sort of respect for Big Papa Melly, just in the way that he's fighting him, treating him as an individual, putting respect on his name, essentially, when Tristan got in the way. Like, obviously, there's some sauce there, there's still some respect. That's more on Arthur's end than Meliodas' end. What does Meliodas have to gain from treating Arthur like a baby? Because, like, that's essentially what he is, right? Because to save Arthur, like, you want to save Tristan. Bro doesn't have control over his darkness powers yet. You know, he's still growing up. He's young. Help him out. Go save Tristan. You didn't do that. Because we can see Tristan does not have his demon powers under control. But okay, whatever. You know, save Percival. You know, he's lost his grandfather. He's struggling. He has a squad, but the squad's about to get left behind. Like, he is in pain. He needs help. The final villain? The big bad? The homie who plans to annihilate all the species, including you and your kid, and probably your wife? What would? Does Elizabeth count as an exception? Because she has a human body, but a goddess soul. I don't know. I'm assuming Nanashi's still alive, despite the fact we have not seen him yet. So, questions for later. But still, with that being the case, it's kind of weird. I can't think of any character tie. Like, there's no guilt that I think Meliodas would feel for putting Arthur on a t-shirt or put him in a coffin. Like legitimately, if you can't beat him, seal him, right? Because whatever, say Arthur he was just capping, and he does have the whole, like, Cath level of, oh yeah, I literally don't even know life and death are anymore. I'm just bigger, stronger, faster, and better. Then put him in a coffin. Seal him away. I don't see any reason why Meliodas wouldn't be for that when he's able to bam his own pops, bam his own mother-in-law, bam random holy knights, bam random people. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, Meliodas can put some people in the pack, so I don't know why he's so against Arthur. Like, is it the only other thing I could think of is that he feels bad for Merlin, and he's like, oh, well, I can't take away her boy toy, or else all that Merlin's done for me is going to be left to waste. But still, once again, it's so hard to get past the initial roadblock of Meliodas knows that Arthur wants to get rid of all the other races. Like, this is just a thing. Like, this is not rocket science anymore. We aren't theorizing. Like, we aren't early 20 chapters of Four Knights of the Apocalypse where we don't exactly know what's going on. Like, there's no, like, vagueness anymore. We know for a fact that Arthur's like, the other species? Ew. They're nasty, they're disgusting, and I want them off my lawn. Like, that is Arthur. Like, we have no excuses anymore. Meliodas doesn't have any vagueness. He literally is at war with this guy. But for some reason, he wants to save him. And, like, what does saving Arthur really accomplish? Like, I guess a powerful ally. That's the only thing you get, a powerful ally. But, like, as Meliodas even highlighted at the beginning, at the end of the last series, and even when he sees Arthur going a little bit poco loco with Chaos right now, he's like, yo, Chaos is a power that we don't fully understand, we don't really need out and about, and is probably more trouble than it's worth. And now he's seeing that is in fact way more trouble than it's worth. But he wants to save Art? Like, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. Like, I gotta be missing something. I gotta be missing something in Meliodas' character or something like this. Because why? He's not your traditional shonen MC. I don't slaughter my enemies. Yeah, you do. Slaughter him. If you can. Like, if he is mortal, hit him up with the meanest Trillium Dark you can muster. I need assault mode, full power when he's in base on deck, right now. But I don't know. I wish I was hoping to come into this video and like have like some thesis where I can lay out why Meliodas wants to save Arthur. But I just have two general vague ideas, and it's the fact that he'd be a strong ally. But then again, what is the strong ally for? Every other species, reasonably, is either directly under his thumb. If Meliodas' thumb is in, they are either former workers of him, like King of the Fairies is his subordinate, Diane, Queen of the Giants, his subordinate, Bon, leader of his own little fairy force, his subordinate, and or fodder. Like, not exactly sure what's going on in the Goddess Realm right now. Not sure if Ludishel, Tarmiel, and Sariel have reincarnated just yet, but even if they haven't, they just have Mael, and Mael doesn't have his grace anymore, so he's fodder. And with him being fodder, like, there's nothing they can do. Like, I don't think, once again, base post-purg Meliodas wipes the four archangels at the same time. So I don't think we really need any worry from them. Like, Arthur is the only threat as far as Meliodas knows. Like, unless he has sudden new fears about the Chaos Clan, which is something that also warrants its own video that we need to talk about, I don't see what he gains from having Arthur as an ally and not just putting him in a box. Like, legitimately, bleach him. And I don't mean, like, pour Clorox down his throat. I mean, like, legitimately, like, go the bleach route. Keep Aizen around, because you can't get rid of Aizen, but keep him around in a spot where he can't do anything to anybody else. Put him in a box for however long until you need him again. And then, hypothetically, if you need him, let him out. But for now, Arthur is more liability than threat. No, he is more of a threatening liability than he is an asset. Because bro can literally do anything to make everything worse. There's nothing positive that comes from Arthur moving and schmoving and grooving out in the open world when he wants the entire rest of the world underneath his foot. So Meliodas, he has some mad explaining to do. And if it is for Merlin, you know, I get it. Just like pretty much every other female character in this series, at one point or another, they want that Meliodas meat. And maybe you feel bad, so you want to leave with another boy toy. But this boy toy is just a bit too dangerous, dog. This isn't a Ken doll, it's a Chaos doll. And it's a Chaos doll that does not happen to like its other creations. Or descendants of creations. So I'd say, Meliodas, put it down, put him down, for the sake of the people, for the sake of the world. At this moment, Arthur is nothing more than a liability, and he needs to be wiped off the balance sheet. However, that's what I think. Please tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to hit the notification bell to miss out on any videos that come on the channel. Also, I do have a page down below. You can support for as low as count them $1 a month. You get these exclusive videos, early content, and more. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dago the Pencil, writing off.